Assessment and feedback is one of the most important areas that we need to talk about. Sometimes I call it testing, how to assess your students and then so that to get the feedback. Because assessment provides information on learner progress, to what extent the learner's progress, helps teachers identify strengths, weaknesses, and learning gaps, guides instructional planning and curriculum adjustment, encourages learners' self-awareness and responsibility. Types of assessment: formative, which is monitoring progress during learning; quiz, oral response, or peer check. This is daily lesson, ongoing feedback. Summative, evaluate achievement at the end of a unit or course. The final exam or essay presentation. End of unit or end of unit assessment. Diagnostic, identify learner strengths and weaknesses. Placement test, initial assessment. Beginning of course. Continuous assessment, regular monitoring across the course. Portfolio journals participation, tracks growth over time. Self-assessment, learner evaluates own performance. Reflection logs checklist. Encourages autonomy. Peer assessment, students evaluate each other. Peer review of writing oral presentation. Promotes collaborative learning. Assessment of language skills. Listening, speaking, reading, writing, and grammar vocabulary. In this case, in listening skill, the assessment focuses on comprehension of main ideas, details, and inferences. Speaking fluency, accuracy, pronunciation, and interaction. Reading, you assess comprehension, vocabulary, and inference. Writing, you assess content, organization, grammar, vocabulary. Grammar and vocabulary, accuracy, and use in context. What are the principles of effective assessment? The assessment should be validity. Assessment measures what is meant to measure. Reliability. That means the test should be reliable. How valid or reliable? The assessment. The assessment results are consistent over time and across evaluators. Practicality. Tasks are visible in terms of time, resources, and student ability. Authenticity. Tasks reflect real-life language use. Fairness. Consider learners' background and proficiency levels. The assessment should be valid, reliable, practical, authentic, and fair. Okay? The feedback is essential for learning environment. It helps learners understand what they did, what needs improvement, how to improve. Types of feedback: immediate feedback or oral feedback, delayed or written feedback, positive or encouraging feedback, corrective or constructive feedback, peer feedback, self-assessment. These are different types of feedback. Strategies for giving effective feedback. Be specific. Balance positive and corrective feedback. Use examples. Focus on priority areas. Encourage self-correction. Integrate feedback with practice. What are the common classroom activities for assessment and feedback? Quizzes and mini tests. Observation checklist. Peer review. Self-assessment. Portfolio assessment. Interactive feedback. And you know each one and an example of each. These are some activities of, okay. Now testing in ELT. Importance of testing. The same, testing means assessment. Testing is a key part of language teaching because it measures learners' achievement and progress, identifies the strengths and weaknesses of the students, language skills, provides feedback for learners and teachers, curriculum planning and instructional decisions. Then assessment versus testing, which is assessment and testing, the difference between them. The purpose of assessment: monitor learning, guide interaction. Purpose of testing, evaluate achievement and assign grades. Timing, ongoing, usually at the end of unit or course. Focus, formative and formal, become summative or formal. Feedback, immediate descriptive, become often formal, scores based. Examples, observation, quizzes, peer review, midterm exam, final test, placement test. The difference between assessment and testing in terms of purpose, timing, focus, feedback, and examples. Types of language test. In the placement test, determine learner's level. This is an example of it. Diagnostic test, identify strengths and weaknesses. This is an example of it. Achievement test, evaluate what learners have learned. This is an example of it. Proficiency test, this is the purpose of it. And then this is measures general language ability. Progress test, monitor improvement over time. Skill specific test, focus on one language skills. And these are examples of each type. What are the principles of test design? To design a test, the same thing should be practical, valid, reliable, authentic, and watch back. Means test encourages positive learning behavior. Test formats and techniques. How to design a test. Objective test, multiple choice, true false, matching, easy to score and reliable, suitable for vocabulary, grammar, and reading. Subjective test, open-ended test, essays, short answers, oral responses, assess fluency, creativity, and higher order skills, require careful marking and rubrics, performance-based test, role plays, presentations, group discussion, assess practical communication skills, encourage audience, authentic language use, integrative test, combine several skills, example listening to the dialogue and writing a summary. Designing classroom test. Step one, if you want to design a test, students will be reviewed past simple work accurately in sentence. Choose test type, multiple choice, fill in the gap, or oral interview or writing task. Step 3, select test content, include presented material from lessons. Step 4, decide scoring marking criteria. Define points for accuracy, completeness, fluency, or vocabulary. Pilot or check test, try a small group before final administration to check clarity and timing. Marking and scoring, how we mark and score the test. Use rubric for consistency. Focus on accuracy, completeness, clarity, and creativity. Positive constructive feedback strengths first, then areas of improvement. Sample rubric for writing task. Criterion grammar. Almost no errors. Some errors, many errors. Vocabulary. Accurate and valid, limited but appropriate, limited and inaccurate. Organization. Clear and coherent. Some coherence issues, poorly organized. American excellent, how it is satisfactory, need improvements. Task completion fully addresses task, this is excellent. Partial addresses task, this is satisfactory. Task not addressed, this needs to be improved. Providing feedback after testing. Feedback should be specific, constructive, and actionable. Encourage self-reflection, which mistakes can you correct next time. Highlight success to motivate learners. And these are activities. These are activities about assessment and testing. These are activities about assessment and testing. And this is the end of 11 part. Thank you very much. I'll see you next lecture.